Hello guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now in today's video we're gonna be doing with Naruto was like Tobi part 2. Now get this video to 30 likes for the next part, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think of this part because I kinda like this part, like the way the script went, so hopefully you guys will like it. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's just get the video started. We start this video with Naruto and Mio, who just appeared in front of two people. As Naruto says it's time, as the two people says okay. Then the man says Conan, looking at the other person. As then he says go tell a.dTHEweeb that we have found his new teammates. As Conan says yes, as a piece of paper come from her sleeve, as the paper basically turned into a butterfly and fly away. As Pain would basically then say who is that and why is she here? As Naruto would say, oh, this is a friend of mine and she will be in my team, and her name basically she'll be in my team in data as well. As Pain would say okay, what's her name? As Mio would say I'm Mio. As Pain would say, and what makes her worthy of joining the Akatsuki? As Mio would basically crash down and put her hand in the ground, as spikes would come from the ground, the ceiling and the walls, and shot at Conan and Pain, basically stopping around the necks. Then Mio pulled her hand off the ground and stood back up, as the spike would go back to the ground and stuff. As Pain would say okay, then she'll be on your team with you and a.dTHEweeb. As Naruto would say alright. As then Naruto would hold Mio's shoulder, as they would basically get sucked away into a swirling vortex / Kamui. As we skip 1 hour later, as we see a giant humanoid creature. Is basically this right here. We see a giant humanoid creature crouching down, and it had giant chains around its hand, and 8 figures standing on one of each figures, but 2 of them were empty, as the people who were. Oh yeah, I got interrupted for a while there. Sorry about this. Anyways, basically the people who was standing on the statues, fingers was basically Conan, Itachi, Zetsu, Black and White Zetsu, like when they fuse together and shit. a.dTHEweeb, Hidan, Kakazu, and Kisame and Pain. As then Hidan would say, so leader, why did you call all of us here? As then Pain would say, we finally found the final 2 members of the Akatsuki. As Kisame would say, oh, and who are they? As basically 2 figures would appear on the 2 other fingers that was empties. As basically one of them was a male about 14, as he was wearing a traditional Akatsuki robe. But he was 14, but like people, he was like tall and shit, so he kind of looked like he wasn't 14. So yeah, he is wearing the traditional Akatsuki robe and the orange mask with 1 eye hole in the other. And the other figure was a female wearing the exact same cloak and mask, but like instead of orange, it's black. So yeah. Anyways, basically, let me see if I can this picture. Yeah, it's basically this girl right here, but like imagine a black. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, this is basically what it looks like. So yeah. Anyways, basically, yeah, everyone would be kind of like interested in them, I guess you can say, as basically everyone would start to stare at them, as then the male would the guy basically the Tobi would say, oh, what the fuck is Tobi picture? Tobi would basically say, hello there, I'm Tobi, and Tobi is a good boy, in a childlike voice, as then the female would say hello. She would basically go, she basically would just say hello, and she would go back to being quiet. As then she would basically start to laugh, as all the cast member would look at her confused, as then she would say, don't worry about it. As then all them would basically start to basically glare at her even more. As then they release a tiny bit of killing intent. You know how basically your aspect nature and shit, you're a killer, and basically you permanently gonna have kind of killing intent leaking out of you at this point. So yeah, and they weren't really trying to suppress anything. So yeah, as basically they stare at her, and she would act like she was scared and shit, and she basically act like she was shaking, and one behind Tobi saying that she's scared to protect her, as Tobi then basically crossed his arm and say, as long as I stand, that will never happen. I will never let them hurt you. As Mio, basically they say he's not never gonna let them hurt you, Mio-chan. As Mio would say, oh, Tobi senpai, you're so brave and shit. As Tobi would say, yes, I'll do anything for you, Mio-chan. As Mio would say, yes, Tobi senpai, you're the best and shit. Basically, they have a whole ass thingy with them calling each other senpai and chan and shit. As they basically go back and forth until Pain would say that Tobi and Mio will join you as your new teammate, as Hidan and Karazu would laugh at basically Data, as then everyone will basically disappear. We skip over to the Leaf Village as we see Mema and Mito getting into a team with Sasuke, Uchiha, and freaking Kashi as team leader, and Mema and Mito as other two teammates. As they will proceed to do a couple of D-rank missions, but Tsunade, which is the new Hokage, would basically give them a C rank, as Tazuna would basically come in and say, freaking, what he's saying, kind of basically saying, oh, how I paid a lot of money and I get this bright and shit that looks like they can't even protect themselves. So yeah, they'll talk about all them, as they basically go back and pack their stuff to go to the mission, as the mission will go similar to Kanen, with the demon brothers attacking Mema, and except that this time he actually dodged and Sasuke came in and basically did what he did in Kanen. And yeah, as then they basically meet with Zabuza, and as the interaction will go similar with him saying Kakashi the Sharingan and all that, until basically Kakashi got trapped into a water prison, as Mema would grab Mito and launch her at Zabuza, as she would use a chakra punch, as she would basically punch to Zabuza, as Zabuza would put down his sword, basically put it in the way so he can block with it, but the shockwave from the punch would push him back a little bit, like one step, as that would basically make him barely take his hand out of the water prison, and Kashi would basically be enough to basically break out of it, as he would basically fight happened the same, as Haku would hit Zabuza's neck with the ice needles and drag him away, as they would train, as all that. We skip to the day where the bridge builder and stuff like that, like, you know, what the day Haku and them attack, basically, Sasuke and Mema would be fighting with Haku, and Zabuza would be fighting with Kashi, and Mito would be staying with Zabuza due to Kakashi ordering her to do that. I think Kanin basically Sasuke had a lot of needles sticking out of him, and Mema had a lot too, as Mema would be eventually get pissed and use the Nine-Tails chakra and beat up Haku. All that happened to happen the same like Kanin, except that Mema was conscious instead of it being just a Nine-Tails chakra taking over, and he did it willingly, and that he actually didn't stop. Like, he didn't stop before punching Haku, so he just like went there and killed him. So yeah, as Kashi stopped Zabuza killing him as well. As they called the bridge a Great Memory Bridge, and he got a massive, huge ego boost from that. As they go back to the village with Mema being so freaking arrogant. And yeah, we skip back to the Akatsuki. They were having a meeting as Pain and the others were standing on the same statue. As basically, freaking hell. Yeah, basically they're staying in this. Oh my gosh. They're staying on the same statue, as then Pain would say, so now we have gotten all 10 members of the Akatsuki. We will start to basically hunt down the tail beast. As Pain would say, I will assign you guys your tail beast, and you will hunt them down. Failure is not an option. As then Pain would say, Hidan, Kakazu, go get the two tails, as they would disappear. And Mio and Tobi go get the three tails, as Tobi would basically go and you know how in the armies and shit, basically be like saluting and shit like that. Basically that. He goes in the as he would say, so yeah, so as Mio would basically be staring at him with stars in their eyes, as basically Data would basically sigh and basically make two clay birds, and he would basically go on one and start flying and make the others. He basically go on one, and the other one would basically stay there waiting for Mio and Tobi to get on. And Tobi would say, no, they don't have senpai, let's share the same bird. As Mio would basically be holding him and pulling him to the other bird, as Data would basically start flying, as he would leave Tobi there and shit to basically stay with Mio. As Mio would basically put him on the bird, and they would fly away as well. As Pain would basically say, Itachi, Kisame, go get the four tails, as they would go, as like they would basically disappear as well. As we would skip to Tobi to see him running around on the clay bird, as Mio was running after him, as Tobi would be screaming, no more please, as Dina would basically just be sighing, as he would try his best to ignore them. As we skip 5 minutes later, they arrive over a giant lake, as Dina then pull out a hand full of clay, as they basically put some chakra into the clay and drop it into the water, and basically the clay would change shape into a giant fish, I guess, and basically start swimming around. As then Data would basically smirk and go to a single hand sign and say cats. As then a giant explosion would basically happen in the lake, and the water would basically fly up, hitting the clay bird that Mio and Tobi was on, and making Tobi fall into the water, but Mio jumped and onto Data's Claybird's leg, and basically she would climb up and get on top of the bird, as she would basically just be sitting there and staring at Data and making sure that it's not doing anything stupid. As then Data would basically just keep throwing Claybirds and shit like that and into the lake and shit and blowing them up, as we see Tobi underwater swimming away from the giant three-tailed turtle, but in reality he saw that where the clay bombs were landing, so he would lure the turtle to where the clay birds were landing at. And yeah, and then one of the clay fishes, I guess, basically landed in front of the turtle, right in front of it, and it blew up, making the turtle basically get knocked out, and the body of the turtle basically float up on the lake. As they will basically make four other clay birds to carry the tailed beast. As then they basically get to the base to extract it. As Pain will basically say, "You guys did a good job." As Tobi will go into like a he basically go into another one of his post position or whatever, and saying, "Yep, I did all the work," with a proud voice. As then Data would basically grab his arm and starts pulling on it. As Tobi would say, Data Senpai, you being so aggressive today." As Data would basically get pissed and pull out a clay bomb, as you basically hit Tobi with it. As it will blow up, as Tobi will basically get sent flying away, putting dirt on his clothing and stuff. But something that no one saw was that Tobi's mask was spotless. Not even a single drop of piece of dirt was basically on it. As yeah. Anyways, then they basically proceed to seal away the tail beast chakra and the soul. As then we skip 3 years later, the extraction was finished. As then Pain says, since you guys since you guys did the mission really fast, I will give you a new one. And this one you have to go to a land of fire. There's a village near the temple, the fire temple. Go there. There's someone called Sorash. He's a kid about your age pointing at Tobi. I don't care how you do it, just bring him here. As they would basically nod, and as Didra would basically do his clay bird, as then they'll fly away. As then we skip a week later, they were basically flying over a village, a small one, not the size of a cloud village or anything like that. As then we see Data drop a lot of small clay insects like spiders, birds, like small birds and stuff like that. I guess whatever. Anyways, they basically go into the village, like the insects and stuff. As then Data I would say art is an explosion. As Tobi and Mew will basically be on a different claybird, as they'll basically be watching and cheering on as the village exploded. As there was only everyone basically died except for Sora, who survived when he saw the village started to explode. He basically activated his night tail cloaks and protecting him, but took a lot of damage, and he was alive but like unconscious. And if he didn't get any medical attention within like a couple of days, he would die. As Tobi jumped down, actually no, he wouldn't die actually since Ninetales hit him. But yeah, Tobi would jump down, picking him up and climbing back to the bird. As they basically went back the a.dTHEweeb base, as he put Sora on the bird and shit so he can fly. As then oh my gosh, alright, sorry. Yeah, they basically fly back to the base, I guess. Anyways, as then they'll basically proceed to do the same extraction process that they did before to the three tails, but it was much faster, like only a couple of hours, due to it only being a small fragment of the chakra of the tail beast. But it was enough to open one of the eyes of the statue, of the giant statue. as then basically uh the other Akatsuki members will come as they had captured their respective tail beasts, as they sealed him away, as the fight between the two tails and Hidan went the same as canon, with the two tails transforming and Hidan getting crushed but still surviving. And Kisame vs the four tails was the same as canon as well, with Itachi just putting him in the genjutsu and Kisame using his sword to suck away his chakra, dry, knocking him out. As now the four of the 9 eyes of the statue were open, as then everyone would disappear, as Pain would basically call Naruto and Mio, as then he would tell them that he heard that one of the Jinchurikis will be going to the one tail Jinchuriki. God damn, I'm messing up. The one tail Jinchuriki will be going to the Chunin exams, and there you will capture him, as Tobi would say in a much deeper and serious voice. You don't give me orders, but I will go since it's part of the plan, as he would swallow away with Mito. But guys, this is your friend Gabby off. If you guys liked it and enjoyed, sorry about messing up at the end and shit. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Get this video to the like for the next one, and yeah, for following you, I'm Gabby for now. Peace.